All right, so we're diving deep today into the world of celebrity parties.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, we're looking at two pretty big names.
Okay.
P. Diddy and Drake.
All right.
Now, with Diddy's parties, there's this whole other, dark side.
Right.
There are some serious allegations floating around about what goes on there.
Yeah.
But then you've got Drake's parties. And while they might not have that same, dark cloud hanging over them,
Right.
they're still pretty wild in their own right.
Interesting.
Definitely a different kind of wild, though.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually, we've gotten a pretty good look inside Drake's world recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, an influencer actually managed to get some footage inside one of his parties.
Wow. So we're not just talking rumors anymore.
Exactly. We're getting some real details about what happens behind those closed doors.
I mean, it's so rare to get a glimpse into these kinds of events.
Right.
It's usually all speculation.
Yeah.
But now we can start to see what's real and maybe figure out what these parties are all about.
And the reality is pretty crazy, just from what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Drake's 37th birthday party.
Okay.
It was back in October, and the theme was Rich Baby Daddy.
Uh-huh.
And they definitely went all out.
How so?
Well, for starters, they had a raffle.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not talking about a signed poster or something.
Right.
The grand prize was a G-Wagon.
Seriously, a whole car.
Yeah, a brand new luxury SUV.
I mean, that's next level.
Right. It really makes you rethink the whole concept of party favors.
It's a huge statement.
It is. It's this big display of wealth.
Totally.
And it definitely creates a lot of buzz and hype around these parties.
Yeah, I can see that.
But the extravagance didn't stop there.
What else did they have?
They had a claw machine.
Okay, that's pretty normal.
Yeah, but this wasn't your average claw machine.
What do you mean?
It was filled with Chanel bags.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And guests got free tries to win one.
That's insane.
I know, right? And they were also giving away iPads as prizes.
So basically, everywhere you turn, there's a chance to win something expensive.
Exactly. It's like they took a normal party game and turned it into this high-end luxury experience.
It's definitely unique,
For sure.
but it sounds like getting into one of these parties is no easy feat.
Oh, yeah. It's super exclusive.
What do you have to do?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of secrecy and control around these events.
Really?
Yeah, we've heard that models who attend have to sign not one, but 2 NDAs.
2 NDAs just to go to a party.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
That says a lot about how important privacy and image control are to Drake.
Definitely.
And I bet that once you're inside, there are even more rules.
You're right about that. Apparently, phones are completely banned.
Really?
Yeah, remember that influencer who got the footage?
Okay.
They had to sneak a camera in.
Wow, so they're really trying to keep everything off the grid.
Exactly. Drake and his team want to control everything that gets out about these parties.
It's interesting because that kind of secrecy just adds to the mystique. It makes people even more curious about what's going on inside.
Yeah, it's this whole insider versus outsider thing.
Right, even if it means sacrificing any real spontaneity.
Exactly.
It's all about controlling the narrative.
And it doesn't end there. Even getting an invitation doesn't guarantee you entry.
What?
Yeah, there are reports that even people on the list have to wait in line.
Seriously?
Yeah, and then there's a real-time selection process at the door.
Like a bouncer deciding who gets in.
Basically, and apparently it's all based on appearance.
That is so wild.
I know, right?
I mean, it just shows how curated the guest list is.
Yeah, they're not just looking for a big crowd. They want a specific look and vibe.
It's all about control.
Totally.
Drake and his team have the power to decide who's worthy of being there.
Yeah, and it definitely creates this social hierarchy within the party itself.
For sure.
And then there's the whole dynamic once you're actually inside.
Okay, what's that like?
Well, Myron Gaines from the Fresh and Fit podcast,
Okay, I know them.
he claimed that Drake invites a ton of women to these parties.
Like how many?
He said it could be anywhere from 50 to 100.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, but then he said that Drake kind of keeps his distance from them.
Really? So he invites all these women but doesn't really interact with them?
That's what Gaines said.
That's so strange.
It is kind of weird.
It makes you wonder what the point of these parties really is.
Yeah, is it about connecting with people, or is it more about Drake being surrounded by a crowd of admirers?
So like being close to him is the main attraction.
Even if you don't actually get to talk to him.
Exactly.
It's definitely a very specific and unusual party atmosphere.
Totally different from what you'd expect.
Right. It's not really about mingling or having fun in the traditional sense.
More like a spectacle.
Yeah,
And it really highlights the difference between Drake's parties and Diddy's.
exactly. We were talking about how they're both wild, but in totally different ways.
Right. Drake's parties seem to be all about this crazy extravagance, the control over everything, and this weird social dynamic.
Yeah, where being near Drake is the prize even if you don't get much attention from him.
Exactly. While Diddy's parties are facing much darker accusations.
So it's like two extremes.
Yeah, wild doesn't always mean the same thing.
So to sum up, Drake's parties are this world of luxury cars as raffle prizes, designer bags and claw machines, NDAs, phone bans, and a super selective entry process.
And at the center of it all, you have Drake, this kind of detached figure who doesn't seem to interact much with the guests he invites.
It's all very carefully constructed to project a certain image and create a specific kind of experience.
One that's very different from everyday life.
Yeah, very exclusive and controlled.
So it makes you wonder, why go through all this effort?
Right. Why create these elaborate and controlled events?
What's the motivation behind it all?
Is it about having fun? Or is it more about status and control?
What does it say about celebrity culture and the power dynamics at play in these circles?
And is this really what fun looks like at that level of fame and wealth?
It's a fascinating question.
It really makes you think about the nature of these high-profile social worlds and what it all means.
Definitely a lot to consider.
Absolutely.
Thanks for diving in with me.
Of course, always a pleasure.
Until next time.
See y'all.